Russian Doll back? Man, it feels like five ever since we talked about this.
Hmm.
And that's because it kind of has been. I mean, this is Russian Doll dropped pre pandemic,
Yep.
which pandemic feels like 5 years. So this is like 8 years ago at this point in my mind. But
February
2019,
2019.
yes.
Long time.
So we're 3 years, 2 months removed from Natasha Leone's breakout show role. Really put her on the map. I mean, she had been around for a while,
Yeah.
but I think this is the first time something really felt true to who she was as an actress. Let her,
Yeah, I would say like specifically like comeback breakthrough
yes.
because she had been around a long time and
Mhm.
famous in the New York scene, but going through all those personal issues, then get her life back on track, and then Russian Doll happens with the help of
Mhm.
Amy Poehler and Leslie Headland. It's like, oh shit, it's like huge breakthrough, and I think totally reestablishes who Natasha Leone is as a comedic performer.
Her character Nadia Volvikov is back for season two, as well as a lot of the people from season one. Obviously, Yul Vasquez as John Reyes is back this season. 7 episodes dropping for season two. And this time exploring, I think, some different themes, not just like the time loop, but the ability to like go back and explore different periods of your family's history from the first person perspective. Uh, Pretty interesting. Dave, I know that you watched the whole season. I almost got through the whole season. We'll be talking about the whole season, though. I don't mind the spoilers. Um, Overall, what was your impression of season two of Russian Doll?
Yeah, so I still enjoyed it. I don't think it's as strong as season one. It's one of those things, Russian Doll season one, even Barry season one, especially Killing Eve season one. Really amazing first seasons kind of out of nowhere of TV in the recent memory that conclude on such a awesome grace note and like are so in sync thematically that like, you're like, huh, don't know if we need more. Don't know if you could pull it off as well if you try and do it again. Barry actually managed to pull it off. Killing Eve did not. Russian Doll, coming back 3 years removed, say, oh, they're going to try it again. Is it just going to be a remake, rehash of season one all over again? And even if it was, honestly, probably wouldn't be that bad because Natasha Leone's really fucking funny. Wouldn't mind, but it's not that. I think this is definitely a messier season. Uh, Perhaps has even loftier thematic ambitions, but I don't know if it doesn't come together as well as season one did, which I think really took that Groundhog Day concept that you're introduced to in the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and by the end of that first season, you're actually much more invested in like the emotional journey of Nadia and Alan, and like their actual like personal growth is a bit more important than resolving the uh, multi-dimensional troubles they're having. So season two, I don't know if it brings it all together quite as well, but they at least change it up enough that I'm still happy that they were able to bring it back because I think it's still really enjoyable, like almost the entire time. It's still really fun.
Definitely a lot of fun, and I think going through the different periods of history, seeing the different interactions. While there's certainly some moments I'm like, this is definitely just a TV show portrayal of this. I definitely think it's really interesting, and it asks some, I think, interesting questions. I particularly like the themes of just like understanding your family history and that intergenerational trauma that kind of is a running theme for um, both characters in this season. Um, Natasha Leona is interesting because that her character is so gruff New York City
Yeah.
alternative chick, and it's kind of, it feels almost turned up a notch in this season, like just kind of like even wittier, even more like sly and quick tongued, and uh,
Mm.
it worked at some points, and at some points I just wanted her to like tone it down a bit and just be like, hey, like you don't have to always be like boom boom boom, but that really is just the character. It just for some reason felt like it didn't hit as much for me this season, but
Hmm.
I still enjoyed every episode that I've been able to watch so far because I think it just asks good questions, and it just is putting the characters in interesting situations that you definitely want to keep sitting with.
Yeah, I mean, you have Natasha Lyonne, who, like you said, is super associated with New York, and her
Mhm.
as a performer, very New York, the accent, the rasp, things like that. This time around, her mom is played by Chloe Sevigny, another
Mhm.
person very associated with New York City. So I just saw like meta wise that was kind of cool, and I think Sevigny actually was a very small role in season one as well. But yeah, I think because there's just kind of more going on from a plot perspective in season two that you can kind of get a little frustrated with just Nadia's personality, I guess, because you're like, hey, can you just like get to like fixing things?
Yeah.
But to the show's credit, I think it does enough work to like establish why Nadia is kind of like getting off the path and
Mhm.
starting to lose her marbles a little bit as the timelines are beginning to blend and take over and things like that. I think the issue with season two overall is that there's just not a lot of Alan. You know,
No.
like the season one first 10 minutes, the hook, the Happy Birthday Baby repeat. The hook of the Groundhog Day stuff, amazing. And then what? Halfway through, roughly, season one, we're in Alan's shoes, and it's like, oh fuck, this is awesome, and like, the show actually like grows right in front of your eyes and goes somewhere you didn't expect. Season two, though, yes, we spend some time with Alan, just Alan, but like it just I don't think it's enough, and like his payoff just isn't really there, and just kind of a bit unfortunate because he was such a integral part to why season one came together at the end.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. You kind of saw how their friendship had grown. From the last time we see them to when the story begins. In the first episode, Nadia just shows up at his house and he just kind of comes in unannounced, and he's like, "You know that you can only do this in emergencies." And so you kind of it's kind of established that they've grown to their friendship since then, which makes sense given what they went through. I gotta say, I was disappointed to not get more of him this season, but I did really like when some of those characters just like randomly popped up. Especially, I mean, I guess not a random character, but her best friend Maxine Greta Lee is just
Yeah,
dynamite in the
always.
episode. I think it's episode three, Brain Drain, when they go
Hmm.
to
Budapest.
Budapest, and oh my god, she is just hysterical that whole episode. She had me dying. Her delivery and just her perspective is so out there and hilarious, and Greta Lee really delivers all that so well. Um, what other characters that pop up in this season did you find yourself enjoying being with?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Charlton Copley's character. What's his name? Rez? Is that his name?
Mm.
Uh,
Ches.
Ches, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I always like Copley.
Hmm.
Ever since I saw him in District 9, pops up here and there. And it's like, oh yeah, that guy. Cool. And I think he definitely brought just the right kind of edge to the scumbag character he's playing in relationship to Nadia's mom. Um, even if it's like kind of by the numbers, it is kind of fun to just like, hey, we're in fucking East Berlin, Cold War time, Berlin Wall's up.
Yep.
Ooh, spooky times, and then go further back. It's like, hey, look, there's some Nazis. It's like, they don't really, take it anywhere super profound, but still kind of cool.
Yeah. I really liked when Annie Murphy popped up as
Mhm.
young Ruth. Just like what did she call her? She calls her like a Jackie O looking bitch or something like that. She like says something very specific, and or it's like Mia Farrow or something. I just died laughing because I was like, oh yeah, like Annie Murphy really is just a knockout. And you can almost like take her for granted given all the Shit's
Mhm.
Creek, like how funny and well written that show is and the character development. But yeah, her presence on screen was evident even as like a toned back, just like nice
Right.
character. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think who else really stood out. I
I
agree.
mean,
The Cold War stuff was cool for sure.
yeah. I mean, I really like Elizabeth Ashley as present day Ruth. I
Yeah.
I quite enjoy that performance. Her and Leon have a good chemistry, play off each other well.
Mhm.
I think it's just kind of cool because like this whole story, you're not really dealing with anyone super young. Honestly, everyone's like middle aged for the most part. It's kind of interesting to see everything, and like because like I feel like all the characters are pretty mature in this story through two
Yeah.
seasons. Um, Leon has kind of suggested ideas for a third season, and I mean, at this point, why not go for it if Netflix still wants to greenlight it? who knows, I guess, in that department. But I have a feeling they'll again try and do some kind of new spin on it because they tried to do a new spin on season two. So hopefully, if they do come back, we can get more of Barnett, get more of Alan.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hope they make more of this. I really, even if season two doesn't hit quite as hard as season one, the themes that they're going for, the questions they're asking, the things they're looking at are lofty and high concept, and I really appreciate them at least taking these swings. And
Totally.
Leon
Uh,
is a cool character to sit with for sure.
yeah, we also should acknowledge too, showrunner, co-creator Leslie Headland. She didn't actually do any directing this time around, but still very excited for what's next for her because she's the one developing the Acolyte
Mhm.
Star Wars series on Disney Plus, which is going to be set in the past in the High Republic times, thus completely removed from any Skywalkers. So really curious to see what her spin is on that. We're going to get that show next year.
Absolutely. So we'll be talking about her. We'll be talking about Russian Doll if we get another season. Hopefully we do.